It worked? I mean, it worked! I think.
And to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Oh, right. I'm Umbra. Umbra Swift. Are you Dr. Wolf?
Indeed I am. I would hope that some pony has pointed you in my direction for a reason, given your interesting arrival.
You could say that. I heard that you've been a big help to people with their problems, and, well, I was wondering if I could possibly set up a session with you?
Well, I will say your entrance here was a bit jarring, but if it's advice you seek, I may be able to help if you have the time.
Great! But that's the thing. This session isn't for me, per se. It's for someone else close to me and, well, not really of this dimension.
Not of this dimension? Miss Umbra, I don't think I quite understand.
Well, maybe it would be better if I just showed you.
What in Equestria?
See, I'm not from this world of yours. The Rift, you all call it. My home is in the realm called the Modiverse. It's where I live with my brother, Shadow Rush. And, well, the session is for him, if you couldn't guess. But I was wondering if you might be willing to go directly to him. He's a little jittery about leaving his home.
I'm not entirely familiar with this Modiverse at all. Are you certain this is safe?
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. I don't beg anyone, but please, it would mean a lot to my brother and I if you could help him.
If you're absolutely sure, then lead the way.
Oh, thank you, Doc! I promise that you won't regret this. Now, just stay close to me. You might feel a little tingly changing dimensions.
Wait, what? What? How? What?
Welcome to the Modiverse, Doc.
Miss Umbra, what sort of magic is this?
It's no mere magic, I assure you. Hello there. You must be Dr. Wolf.
Yes, and you must be Shadow Rush?
That would be me. I see my sister Umbra had no troubles fetching you, though I must apologize for needing to rely on her to bring you to me. I'm sure she's already mentioned I'm a bit nervous to leave my realm.
I have. You really need to work on that, bro.
Yes, sister. But yes, I'm the one that was in need of a session with you. I've heard that you've helped a lot of ponies over in the Rift, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to help some pony from outside the Rift.
Well, this world is still quite a bit to take in, especially given my rather abrupt arrival thanks to your sister. But if you are truly in need of advice, I may be of help to you.
Thank you, Doc. I hope not to take up too much of your time with this, but I'm grateful.
I think I'll just leave you two be then. Don't let me disturb you.
So, Mr. Shadow Rush, tell me what's on your mind.
Well, you see, Doc, there's this weird little problem that's always been on my mind.
Do tell.
It's this strange feeling that I always get thinking back on everything I've done. And I honestly don't know if it's something others have felt before. You know, like I'm not really the pony everyone thinks I am.
Oh? In what way?
I'm not sure how I could accurately describe it to you, Doc. It's just this feeling of dread that I always get. All my accomplishments, all the wonderful things I've done, the friends I've made, the memories I've created. What if it's all just a dream? Like, what if I've only been fooling myself that it was really me doing all of it?
You feel as though your accomplishments weren't earned, perhaps? Or is it more that you feel your successes shouldn't merit notice?
It feels, honestly, like I haven't truly done anything to deserve the reputation I've garnered. It's just this ever-present feeling in my mind, and at my worst, It's like this broken record inside my head.
You didn't actually do any of this. You're merely fooling yourself into thinking you're worth anything, Shadow.
It's just...
If I may ask, Mr. Shadow, what would you consider to be a life well worth living? What defines praiseworthy success or lasting happiness to you personally?
Honestly, to me, my real happiness comes from, well, making others happy. I know you've probably heard this story a lot, but I didn't have the greatest experience growing up. I had to take care of myself and my own problems more often than not. So to be able to make others laugh and entertain them and see everyone smile, the same kind of joy that I missed out on a lot when I was younger, that right there is what I would call a success. But at the same time, how can I say I really earned any of it?
So then, would you say that the work you've been a part of, the friends you've made, the memories you've created, help to spread this joy you speak of in the lives of others?
Even with all of that, Doc, there's still that presence of dread in my mind, and it really shows sometimes. I still tend to have a hard time asking others for help, since I'm so used to doing things on my own, and I always have to question if what I really do, both for my work and for my friends, really is worth something, or if I'm just fooling myself into thinking it's worth something, and it really hurts sometimes. I want to believe that I'm really that special in the eyes of others, but after the experiences I've had, I honestly don't know if I can, Doc.
I can't honestly say that there's a surefire way to quiet such fears, Shadow. However, I wonder if you could tell me when was the last time you really did feel confident in both your abilities as well as your accomplishments?
Well, this is going to sound corny, but really, all that noise and all that clutter and fear in my head always tends to quieten ever slightly when I'm among my friends. I still don't know how, but even with the silliest things I do, they're always there to laugh with me and cheer me on. And even with my work, I don't know if it's really anything, but I've slowly begun to acknowledge that the kind of work I do is getting better each and every day, and people have told me as such. It's just... No, I really am sounding like that broken record. It's still so hard for me to accept the praise and the love sometimes. It really does feel like it goes in one ear and out the other. And I feel terrible that I have to be constantly reaffirmed by my friends that I am worth something, that what I do is wonderful. Like, am I just annoying them at this point? Or are they really just that dedicated to sticking by my side? I just can't tell sometimes, and it's like I'm really just in somebody else's shoes, and I'm not really, well, me.
'Tis good to hear that you've found some measure of putting aside your own criticisms, even if it isn't always effective. Tell me, how often have you been praising your friends' successes? Found something they've done which caused you to marvel, even wishing that you might someday be able to do something similar?
I've always been there for my friends. Any sort of thing they do, be it art, or a milestone, or even just a joke that made me giggle a lot, I've always been there for them. They mean the world to me, Doc. I know I've gone off so much about how I feel I'm not worth a darn, but I can only be honest to you. Everything my friends have done, be it for me or themselves, it means so much. Though, I do suppose there's a few things I've seen from them that I wish I could replicate on my own somehow. There's so many things I've watched them do that I've never been able to figure out myself. But I'm never envious or jealous of what they do. I just don't have it in me to be that sort of pony. Is that making any sense, Doc?
Most certainly. It is admirable that you share such a bond with your friends. Though, can you remember any time any one of them felt like what they accomplished didn't matter as much as you thought it should? Or perhaps had their own self-criticisms which brushed aside any talents you knew they possessed? And if so, can you remember what you might have said to them to help lift their spirits?
Could I be honest with you there, Doc? I can say, but I don't know if it would really answer your question.
It's perfectly all right if you wouldn't feel comfortable sharing, or if you feel that the answer wouldn't be applicable towards the conversation. But perhaps what you need right now in a first step is just a small shift in perspective. Something that I remind myself of a fair bit more often than many others might think. It is not all about you. In those moments when I feel troubled by others' perception of my work, or even the person I've become, when I feel the need to question whether I even deserve what I've accomplished, or perhaps even feel unworthy of praise, if I focus a little more on accepting and even trusting what my friends or my family cherish from me, or even about me, not just for my own sake, but also because I can believe in who each of them are and what they stand for, then just a little more of that strength I feel in their presence can last into those moments of self-doubt when I'm all alone. When I say to myself, "It is not all about you," I can remember that others not only look forward to what I can do, but also may even depend on it, and on me, which then helps me to realize that what I think of myself may not matter as much as just getting out there and spreading that bit of joy I can give. Those harsh self-criticisms don't ever go away completely, but I have found a bit more self-confidence with that small shift in perspective. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Shadow?
It does. I think I understand what you're saying, and well, maybe what I did want to say to your last question could matter, if you'd still be willing to hear, that is.
By all means.
Well, you see, long ago, I remember something that a close friend of mine said. He does work in a very similar fashion to mine, and he was celebrating a milestone of his at the time. He actually mentioned me as he was thanking people, and I don't think I'll forget his exact words. He saw me as his rival. Not in the conventional enemy sort of sense, mind you, but more in the sense of he wished that he could one day match my level of skill in his craft. That really made me think. Like, what I do means that much that others wish they could match me? It's admittedly stuck with me for a while, even with all my self-doubt. But don't even get me started on the many times I've told my friends that what they do is lovely. I've seen what they can do many, many times, and I'd argue that their level of quality trounces my own sometimes. But sometimes they themselves don't believe it, and I'm always there to tell them otherwise. It's so weird to me that people can be uplifted by just my words alone, telling them what they do is special, when I can't even believe in myself sometimes. Is that weird?
Not at all. I'd say that discussing these experiences of yours may actually be helping you to gain that small shift in perspective already.
You know, you might be right. It's baby steps, but just thinking about the other side of the coin, I'm not sure how to describe it, but it definitely puts me at ease, ever slightly. Though, there is one pony that I feel will never cease telling me what I do has worth, and vice versa.
Would that happen to be Miss Umbra?
Yes, my sister. She's ever talented herself. Cripes, we met when she was just trying to find her own footing in her own craft, and we've been stuck together like glue since. But even she's doubted that all she does is worthy of being among my circle of friends and, well, everyone that she's worked with. I tell her so often that yes, she does matter, and she's a wonderful person, just as much as she does for me when I'm seriously down on myself. It's... what do you call that sort of thing? A parallel?
Precisely that, bro.
Sis?
Mm-hmm. Sorry if I interrupted you both, Doc. I had a feeling Shadow might mention me at some point.
No worries. It would appear that the two of you might have a few more things to say to one another, so I should probably come back another time.
You really want to come back here? I mean, please don't misunderstand. I'm grateful for everything you've said to me, and it's made so much sense, but you really want to...
Shh! Shadow Rush, you're doing it again. We'll talk the rest of this out, okay?
Right. Sorry. Thank you again, Doc. It means a lot to me that you heard my silly little problem out, and I'll do my best to take what you said to heart. One step at a time and all that. Have a safe trip back to the Rift.
Glad to be of service. Until next time, then. It's good to be helping.